It's time to stop making boring chicken and start making it right. Seasoned, seared, juicy, and loaded with flavor. I've got 6 foolproof ways to pull it off tonight. Because food matters, it connects people, and when you learn better techniques, you make meals worth remembering. All right, let's bring out the chicken. Sound good? Let's cook. Can we just start off with a quick chef's chat in the walk-in? Here are 2 chicken breasts I picked up, and they are absolutely massive, weighing at just under a pound apiece. While big may seem like a bonus, I'm not so sure it's a good thing. See, most chicken breasts this size are plumped up with a saline solution, which adds 10 to 20% in size. Counter that, in the 1950s, the average chicken weighed 3 pounds. Nowadays, you're looking at 6 to 7 pounds because they're bred for rapid muscle growth, and because of this, the breasts outgrow the chicken and can cause them to be overly tough. Now, here's what a normal-sized chicken breast look like. They're roughly around 6 to a max of 12 ounces each. Now, I don't know about you all, and I'm not trying to push some agenda, but for me, the more natural, the better. Okay, on to the first technique. I say it in every video that involves browning anything. Moisture is always the enemy of a good sear, and it's probably one of the easiest things that you can fix. When you don't, you're missing out on all that delicious Maillard that makes everything so much better. In order to achieve this, it's as simple as patting the chicken breast down really well on both sides with a paper towel. There's nothing more to it than that. We're just trying to get rid of that surface moisture. After that, you're as free to do with it what you'd like at this point. A dry rub, maybe just a simple seasoning of salt and pepper, you be the judge. This can be grilled or seared right in a pan with a few tablespoons of oil. Once it starts to smoke, the chicken breast goes in and begin that browning process by leaving it untouched for 3 to 4 minutes. After that, let's have a look, and yeah, beautifully golden brown. This is what I'm talking about, and just wait till you see my foolproof method on how to finish searing chicken breasts in a few minutes. But first, if you don't pat it dry, you risk the chicken getting stuck to the pan or not searing at all because that barrier of moisture. A few extra seconds of patting the chicken dry, or any animal protein for that matter, is always the right technique. All right, up next. Now, when folks say that their food is bland, I can almost guarantee like 99.9% of the time that their food is under-seasoned, and the same thing applies to chicken breasts. The first guaranteed solution for incredibly perfect seasoned chicken breast is the dry brine, which is a pre-season and a rest before searing. Starting with a sheet tray, just add a rack right to the top of it, then place down the chicken breast. Now from here, you're going to give it a generous season of salt, as if you're going to cook it right now. It's as simple as that. Then off to the fridge uncovered. You can dry brine from as little as 4 hours and up to 24 hours. Now, the longer you go in that brining process, the more flavorful it'll be. The way this works is over time the salt will draw up moisture from the surface, and then it will soak back into the meat, allowing it to retain all of its moisture while ensuring every little bite is properly seasoned. It's my go-to if I'm being honest. A quick technique, but it makes better food. And for me, there is nothing like seeing my family or friends love something I made. Nothing. And when you take it out after that process, you'll notice there's a slight color change, and the skin may even feel a little sticky. While uncovered in there, the surface has created something known as a pellicle, which is a thin layer made up of proteins that tighten up, which is a good thing because the sear you're going to get will be ridiculous. Don't believe me? Just have a look at that golden brown deliciousness. Flavor, my friends, flavor. And you, without question, can pull this off. All right, let's just say you forgot to dry brine, or maybe the chicken is terribly under-seasoned. I promise you though, all is not lost. Finishing salts are a great way for last-second deliciousness. There are many finishing salts you can use, and in fact, I've got an entire video dedicated to how and when to use several different kinds of salts, where I go into more detail that you should absolutely check out. Whether you're serving the chicken breast whole or thinly sliced, all you're looking to do is season it with a finishing salt. Since they don't dissolve, those crystals stay right on top, adding a gentle crunch and a clean pop of flavor that brightens every bite without ever taking over. But you have to hang on until you see the last technique in this video. It's a total game changer. But first, hands down, the number one question I get around chicken breasts is, how do I not overcook them? It's like eating a brick. Good news is, there's a really simple solution. Well, 2 actually. The first one is a quick read thermometer, which is going to immediately tell you the internal temperature of what you're cooking so it won't be overcooked. Simple. The second one is a thermometer that you insert throughout the cooking process so that you always know where you're at throughout the entire thing. I'll drop a link to both of the ones that I use every day in the description below. While your chicken is cooking, all you're doing is pressing it into the thickest part of the breast so you get a quick read on where you're at. Now, according to the USDA, chicken breasts are done and safe for eating at 165 degrees F internally. And you always have to account for carryover cooking. Even with something this size, you're still gonna push up 3 to 5 degrees. So it's better to pull it early instead of it being too late. I always pull single chicken parts like thighs or breasts a few degrees below so that as they rest, they'll bump up and be at the desired internal temp. It's easy and always guarantees juicy chicken. Thanks to that thermometer for now knowing where exactly you're at. Now remember, I said I'd show you my foolproof method for searing chicken. Well, after it's seared for that 3 to 4 minutes and you flipped it over, add in the probe thermometer to the thickest part of the breast and add it to the middle rack in the oven at 375 degrees F and cook it for 10 to 12 minutes for perfectly juicy cooked chicken breasts. And hey, you can even watch the temp as it climbs to right before that finished temperature and pull it before it hits it and let it rest. 2 thermometer options and both work super well. Here's what's next. So let's just say you didn't season your chicken breast and you're not using finishing salts. But it's too late because now you got to get this flavorless chicken served up. The answer though is a quick pan sauce. The first one, and probably the crowd favorite, is a lemon caper butter sauce. After the chicken is done cooking, remove it from the pan and over low to medium heat, add in 2 teaspoons of unsalted butter, along with a half small diced shallot and 1 finely minced garlic clove. We're cooking for just a minute or 2 until it's all lightly brown. Then we're going to give it a deglaze with a 1/4 cup of dry white wine, and any dry white will work. Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Grigio, all good. Then hit it with 2 to 3 tablespoons of capers. We're just going to cook it over medium heat until only a few tablespoons remain, or better known as offset. Add in the zest of a half lemon and then remove it from the burner. Now on a heat-safe surface or a kitchen towel, add in 6 to 7 tablespoons of sliced cold unsalted butter and constantly swirl it in a circular motion to melt the butter slowly and emulsify the sauce so that the butter doesn't break. This right here is beautiful, my friends. Then we're going to finish with the juice of a half lemon, about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons, a garnish of a tablespoon of finely minced parsley, and then salt, pepper, of course. Mix it in, and this one right here is good to go, and a dang tasty sauce to turn your chicken into seriously a flavor bomb. But also, don't sleep on the chicken pan sauce. It's crazy good, and you can absolutely do it. Remove the chicken from the hot pan and over low to medium heat, add in 2 teaspoons of unsalted butter, along with a half small diced shallot and 1 finely minced garlic clove, just like in the butter sauce. Cook it until lightly brown, which takes a minute or 2, then deglaze with a 1/4 cup of dry white wine. And just like the caper sauce, cook it until only a few tablespoons remain. Then I'm adding in 2 cups of good chicken stock, and I've got a great recipe video if you want to check that out. But first, cook it down over medium to high heat for 8 to 10 minutes, or until it's reduced by about 50 to 60%. It should thicken up nicely to that perfect nappe consistency or coat the back of a spoon. To finish it off, or any sauce as I was taught, a tablespoon of unsalted butter, 1 teaspoon of minced fresh thyme, salt and pepper, and yeah, this one always wins the hearts of my friends and family because it's just so rich and so good, and you saw how easy it was. I promise you've got this. All right, almost to that last technique, which is my favorite. But first, there's nothing worse than eating chicken at home or at a restaurant that's absolutely bone dry. There's nothing worse. Luckily though, I've got 2 great fixes. Wet brining is probably one of the simplest techniques you can do for ridiculously juicy chicken every single time. In a large bowl, add in 4 cups of cold water, followed up with 1 tablespoon of sugar, which is optional, but hey, I like it. Then 4 tablespoons of salt. Just give it a whisk for a minute or 2 or until the salt and sugar dissolve. Once it's clear, you're good to go. But, you know me, I want a little more flavor. So how about 2 smashed garlic cloves, a few sprigs of fresh thyme, and a few peppercorns? Now we're talking. Submerge the chicken breast, add on a lid, and into the fridge, and at the salinity of 6%, you can marinate this for 1 to 4 hours and get ridiculously juicy, flavorful chicken. I can't say it enough. Just like with the other techniques, pat it dry, and you can grill it, sear it, whatever you'd like. Now, if you do have more time to brine, just scale that 1/4 cup amount of salt down to 3 tablespoons. That way you can brine for up to 24 hours. Now, the next tip, so crucial. Resting chicken or any cut of meat is beyond important, and there's legit no work after it's done cooking to do it. Once the chicken breasts are done cooking, you simply set it on a rack over a plate or a sheet tray and let it sit for 5 to 7 minutes. During this time, the juices will redistribute through the meat, guaranteeing you tenderness and a chicken breast loaded with juiciness. Yeah, it's one extra step, but beyond worth it. Don't believe me? Here we go. Let's slice into the rested chicken breast and place it on a plate. All good. Now, let's slice a chicken breast as soon as it's done cooking without resting and place it on a separate plate. Within no more than a minute, you're going to quickly be able to see all the juices left the one I immediately sliced versus the one I rested. In fact, it usually loses between 10 and 20% of its moisture when you do this. No good. Resting is a simple technique that is well worth the squeeze. Of course, let's just try it out, see where we're at. Yeah, totally decent, fine. Let's try the one that rested. I mean to toot my own horn, but immediately juice. It stays in the chicken so much better. No joke. And now, last but not least, and the one you've probably been waiting for, and it is so awesome, is known as the post-cook marinade or the reverse cook marinade. It's so cool. You are going to absolutely love this. In a bowl, add in a half-peeled small diced shallot, 1 finely minced garlic clove, then we're going to add in 1 teaspoon each of minced fresh thyme, rosemary, and chives. Use all, use one, up to you. Then I'm going to finely zest in a half orange and then the juice from a half orange, or about 2 to 3 tablespoons. You could also use a lemon here if you want to substitute. At this stage, I'm pouring in 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, distilled vinegar is fine, then a 1/4 cup of olive oil or any neutral flavored oil. Now, just give it a whisk, and while doing so, season it up with salt and pepper. Taste it. It's a ridiculously dang tasty marinade, but no marinating just yet. Once your chicken has been grilled or seared and rested for a few minutes, give it a slice and place it on a plate or a platter. And now is when you drizzle that marinade all over it and let all that goodness soak right into the cooked chicken for 8 to 10 minutes. And I promise you, you're going to be blown away. Without question, one of my favorite ways to quickly infuse chicken breast with loads of flavor. No more boring chicken. You've got the chicken down, and now it's time for something sweet. My family's chocolate peanut butter balls are only 4 ingredients, and they're seriously so addicting. You're gonna love them. Got a great video, and I'll see you there. That was so good, dude. Oh my gosh.